I talk all the time about how fortunate I am to be the host of NFL Network from its inception, and I mean every word of it. 2003 is when we came on the air. And the number of people that I've gotten to meet, it's just the journey. It's about journeys and stories and distance traveled. Michael Irvin always likes telling stories like that. And the number of men and women that I've gotten to meet through my job and their love of the NFL, it just comes through, and it's something I don't take for granted. And I love this man who I'm about to introduce. I mean, truly do adore this man, and getting to know him and getting to meet him and getting to work with him as we did at the Combine years ago. And I just know what football means to this man, and I know what football has also done for this man and his wife, Carol, and their journeys together. And the fact that they are now going to journey to the Pro Football Hall of Fame together means so much to me. And that's the way I wanted to introduce my friend and Pro Football Hall of Famer Dick Vermeil here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
Rich, needless to say, we are floating very high right now. Carol sitting across from me here in the sun in Key West, Florida, at our daughter's second home, and enjoying time here. And I appreciate very much your kind remarks, and you know the feelings are mutual.
You know, I just know, again, your journey and what you do, for what you've done for the sport, and for it to finally get recognized like this. I know you say you were floating on air, but I mean, who do you think about when the name Dick Vermeil and Pro Football Hall of Fame are said in the same sentence, Coach?
Well, to be honest with you, I think about the coaches that I have great respect and admiration for that aren't in there yet. And I'm going to try to save my seat, and I hope I live long enough to see them all get in. Because, as you know, Rich, we have some very deserving people out there that aren't in there yet. And there's only been 10 coaches put in the last 25 years. So there's room for more. And when people ask me, I think, God, I'm so grateful. But also, I'm sorry these other guys aren't already in.
Well, I mean, who was your mentor, Dick, when you first started? Who's that person who gave you the leg up and started to, help you hone your X's and O's? Who's that?
Well, Rick, if it wasn't for a high school coach taking his first head coaching job at Calistoga in 1954, I probably would not be sitting here. He just inspired the hell out of me, and he was so positive about what he thought I could do as a football player. I'm the count of 1,800 people, a school, 130 kids in it, and he tells you, you could play football. And I just love the game, and so I decided, well, I'm going to be like Bill Wood. I'm going to go to junior college, catch up. Then I walked on at San Jose State and decided I wanted to be a high school football player. And from that time on, I never turned down a job that looked like a good advancement opportunity. So. Yeah.
And then just in terms of who opened your mind on offense, who was that guy who opened your mind on offense?
I worked at Stanford. Bill Walsh was on the staff. Jim Moore was on the staff. Mike White was on the staff. I was always around, football guys, real football guys. I mean, I've sat around the table with John Madden when we were junior college coaches, these kinds of things. But, then into the NFL, it was Ted Marshall-Broda stimulated me. Roman Gabriel, those two people, my first year in the league in 1969. Howard Snellenberger was on that staff. And I was coaching the special teams as the very first special teams coach ever hired. But I went to all the offensive meetings. And then later on, 2 years later, I'm back there, offensive coordinator. And then I go to Chuck Knox. And you talk about sophistication in the running game and the importance of it and the discipline of it and the fundamentals of teaching it, and these kind of things. And Tommy Prothro, I learned so much about practice organization and the fundamentals approaching to make players better. The guys that you have, make each one of them better. Tommy Prothro, and I was so fortunate to do that. Then I get into, my own jobs, and then I bring Sid Gilman with me, and Sid Gilman was like having a walking encyclopedia with you every day. And he coached the quarterbacks on the field. I still ran my own offense and those kinds of things in those days, but he coached our entire offensive staff on how to be better football coaches, as well as improved our scheme, And then Al Saunders, Mike Martz. Nobody did a better job than Mike Martz at first year as a coordinator than he did for us in 1999. You know, and those kind of guys, Jim Hannafin, they were all positive influences on me, really.
Dick Vermeil, Pro Football Hall of Famer here on the Rich Eisen Show. And you know, when Madden went in, he said the busts talk to each other when the lights go out at night. What?
Oh, that's a great statement.
I know, right? What will your bust say to Madden's when the lights go out, Dick?
I'd say, John, you deserve every accolade you have received since your passing, and I hope everybody said that to you before you passed, so you really know how sincere and meaningful you were to people in the National Football League. You know, he helped me also in broadcasting. I traveled on the bus and that kind of stuff. So, and he was so good to me when I came into the league because, like I said, we met all the way back in junior college coaching days, and he was the first guy that called me when I got the head job at the Philadelphia Eagles and invited me to spend time with him at our first owners meetings. And he spent all his free time with me, you know, and then I get in broadcasting. All of a sudden I'm doing games next to his booth. I'm not live. He is. And myself and Frank Gleber did 2 broadcasts on side booths and traveled on the bus with him to the next game. So I have great admiration and respect for the man, you know.
Well, I mean, I honestly, when I heard that, you know, Sean McVay was potentially thinking about going into broadcasting now at age 36 after winning a Super Bowl and getting to his second with the Rams, I honestly thought of Madden and I thought of you, Dick, about, you know, successful coaches talking about burnout, talking about how difficult it is to keep grinding it out, and that broadcasting might be a better way of life. What do you say about that possibility that McVay could be thinking about that right now, Dick?
Well, personally, I hope he doesn't. You know, he's got so much to give to the game. Not that he hasn't already given it to the game, but there's so much in this guy. He's a living football, and I think his mind just sees things so brilliantly as he evaluates what he's going to do and how he's going to prove his scheme and these kind of things. He has so much more to give to the game. And in broadcasting, believe me, it's a lot of fun, and you meet so many wonderful people. And I had such an advantage, and I got to sit in meeting rooms of many, many great coaches, sit in offensive meetings, quarterback meetings, team meetings, talk to teams because of the respect that I had gained as a head football coach. And then I'd go to broadcast a game. Brent and I worked together 8 years, and we'd go in early and spend time with these different coaches. And it was just I learned some things. I regained some confidence. I said to myself many times, you know, these guys are doing it better than I was doing it. From time to time, I'd say, you know, I like how I did it better than they're doing it, you know. But I saw some great coaches. The Bill Snyders at Kansas State is probably as fine a football coach as I've ever seen coach, especially a college football team. Tom Coughlin, when he was at Boston College, I got to know him so well. And what's he do? He gets in the NFL and does a brilliant Hall of Fame caliber job, you know. So I just think Sean has so much to give to the game, and I would be disappointed if he left the game this early, you know.
And it's just amazing how you know, the Rams winning a championship, hoisting the trophy, and it's the first time in Los Angeles they did it, and you know, it brought back so many great memories. Obviously, of your '99 run. What'd you think of Kurt's movie, Dick? What'd you think of that one? You
know, I liked it. Carol and I hosted it in 3 different states before it really went public, and every time I saw it, I liked it better because I better understood. Because I didn't have a deep insight into his early days prior to getting to me. We brought him there in '98. You know, they left out the first year with the Rams, 1998, as our third quarterback, and that's where I really got to know him and watch him. And Rich, I learned if you're not coaching your own offense or your own defense as a head coach, you see a lot more on the practice field of all your players. And I can remember watching him and it coming off the field from time to time when he just ate our defense alive, thinking, you know, this kid can play or else our defense stinks. What do you and so by the time it came to make the decision, was he going to be our starter when Trent Green went down, I had some depth because I watched him 3 days a week throw against our defense. You know, you have a tendency as a coach to not go on what you see, you go on what you hear other people say, and your opinion would be, yeah, he probably can't do that under pressures, running these plays off cards, you know. What would he do in front of 80,000 people? Well, he went beyond everybody's expectations. Okay. So that's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
And the movie's beautiful, as you pointed out, about his personal life and about, you know, Brenda and their son and their kids and the journey, and obviously the scene, you know, where Dennis Quaid is playing you, we will rally around Kurt Warner and we will play good football. Did you did you have to psych yourself up to say that? You've believed it in your bones? I mean, that's such a famous speech that's now in the movie history. Dick, what was that?
I really believed it. Plus, as a leader, it's important that you transmit energy that people can believe. Your team. Our team was ready to be a good football team. And I told John Shaw prior to training camp in '99 this was going to be a very good football team. And he said, Coach, don't tell me that. A lot of coaches have told me that before the season. I said, John, I've been on good teams. This is a good football team. And I knew Trent Green had a great feel for Trent, what great job he was going to do. And then, but the background of watching Kurt for a whole season as the third quarterback in pro gave me confidence and my staff's confidence to make him our number 2 quarterback in the first place in '99. And I knew he would play well. I did not know he would play as well as he did. No quarterback, you can study it any way you want to. No quarterback ever played the first 6-7 games of his career and performed like Kurt Warner did. No one has ever. Yeah.
That is the truth, man. There's no question about that. And now, I mean, look at you, Dick. You've had Dennis Quaid and Greg Kinnear play you in movies. Look at you. You're on Hollywood. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, my wife requested it would be, what was that guy's name?
Brad Pitt.
Actor always like Carol. Excuse me, it doesn't come to my mind.
It's okay.
Great actor.
Is it Brad Pitt? It's usually Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt was Brad Pitt. He wanted Brad.
I love it. Oh, man. All right, so now let's get to finishing up the most important questions. First, how's the wine doing, Dick? How's the wine business?
Well,
what's going on with Vermeil wine?
I say that in 13 years of business. We're in the black, doing well. We've got over 425 club members, and it's growing. Our concern now is having lost all our red grapes in the 2020 forest fire due to smoke damage.
Right.
We're going to be short of red wines. In the year those are due to be sold and marketed. So we're going to be a little bit behind at that time. But I think Thomas Brown is going to step up and let us move some of his red into our tasting room and supplement club members and that kind of stuff. As is Andy Jones, our winemaker. So that's going to help us, yeah.
Well, I mean, your wine is phenomenal. I talk about it all the time, Dick. It really is some of the best.
You do.
It's, of course. Yeah. Are you kidding me? The Vermeil wines and is just terrific. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I believe it because we have, our 2 wine people, Thomas Brown and Andrew Jones. They do a great job. And I've been involved with the vineyard, the Freddie Annie Vineyard, all my life. I know that vineyard. It's 107 acres of rare old Caliso ground that produces wonderful grapes, and so we have a good product. And we don't cut corners, and we didn't go in the business just to make money because you really can't do that in the wine business like we have, little tiny places. But we went in to make as best the wine as we could make, and right now we're moving that way.
VermeilWines.com. Everybody should go check it out. It really is spectacular. And then, have you sat for your bust yet? Do you know what you want? Do you want Philadelphia era? Do you want St. Louis era? What are we going to go for here for the look on your bust?
Well, I'll go in as an Eagle, but with great respect for the Rams and the Chiefs. But I live in Philadelphia. I coach there. I know more of the kids. I still call them kids that I coach. About 18 of them, 17 of them live right there in town, and I see them all the time and have dinner with them, share wine with them. And so I think I would prefer to go in as an Eagle with great admiration and respect for the Rams and Chiefs and brag about being involved with all 3 of them.
So, but the look of the bust, you'll have the hairline of the Philadelphia era. That's what you're going to have for the bust, the look?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know that they've done all the measurements.
Okay. How great is this? How great is you're doing measurements? This is the Hall of Fame, Dick. It's happening. and it's so deserved. And Kurt's the one who knocked on your door, although Kurt told me that you kind of heard him coming up the driveway, and you and Carol were already out there, pretty much.
I thought it was a UPS delivery. Harold knew they were coming.
Okay. All right.
And that's how we had our 2 boys there, because she had our number 2 son, Rick, David, over there to help. He does our financial stuff, and supposedly we were having a family financial meeting. And she said, "Well, Rick, our oldest son, hadn't had breakfast with us in a long time, so she has him over." I'm sitting there in my old work clothes and black T-shirt, and thinking I'm going to be out working, cleaning some wood stuff because the winds that knocked everything down. And the buzzer in the driveway goes off. I get up. I say, "Oh, UPS here early." I go out, and here's Kurt Warner walking through the woods in a gold jacket. I knew right away, hey, I made it.
You made it. And then the question is, Dick, is there's always a wager amongst the class when they're coming in together. There's always a wager as to who's going to cry first. And I'm guessing that you're just going to make everybody just change that wager, that you'll just make that off the boards pretty much, right? I mean, that's what we're going to be talking about come August.
Yeah, well, that's me. It used to really bother me. Now, all you can be is yourself.
That's it.
And I heard Schwarzkopf one time make the statement on 60 Minutes. He didn't worry about those that cried. He worried about those that didn't. That made me feel pretty good. You got to be yourself. And I have found myself with tears in my eyes many times in my career, but for all the right reasons.
Well, maybe we can get you a Kleenex sponsorship for Canton. Something like let's work it in your favor, because that's what people want to see. They want to see you be you. And on behalf of everybody, Dick, at the network who's come across you, I always feel confident being able to speak for all of my colleagues. My gosh, are we just so happy for you and Carol. It is so well deserved. And we loved getting to know you and work with you back in the day. And we kind of feel like, we're going in with you. That's a fact.
Well, I appreciate that very much, and I know you're very sincere. Thank you, Rick.
You take care of yourself, Dick. Say hi to your wife, and say hi to Carol for me and the rest of the family, and congrats again.
All right. Bye-bye.
You got it. It's Dick Vermeil, everybody. It's himself. He's going to be him. Let's get him a gig. Let's get him a deal.
Let's go.
Oh, it's coming. They bet all the time. Who's going to crack first? Who's going to go first?
Dick's
that's off the board. It's off the board. He's off the board. It's who's going to crack second.
Who's going to go second?
Who's going second? Is it you, Baselli?
Seymour.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.